24-yard line. Out beyond the 20 to the 26-yard line. And Kirk, here are the Penn State Taco Bell impact players.
Well, let's start with the running back, Evan Royster. So important that number 22 get established running north and south against the speed of USC. It'll be tough to bounce things. And Deon Butler leads a very talented group of wide receivers. Had a huge game in the last game out against Michigan State. And Derek Williams, the X factor in this offense, number 2. You'll see him take direct snaps. You'll see him run as a tailback, as a receiver. He has to touch the football at least 20 times today for Penn State.
He lines up that tailback spot. Frequently he'll motion out. Clark is up underneath center. And Williams touches it for the first time today. Battles his way out to the 28 or 29-yard line with Christian Tupou bringing him down. So here is Darrell Clark from Youngstown, Ohio.
What a great year that Darrell Clark had coming into the fall camp. He was battling to win the job from Pat Devlin. Of course, won the job. Pat Devlin is now transferred out, so Clark has to stay on the field today, stay healthy, and also, as we talked about in the open, make the throws when he has time to throw the football and make some plays with his feet. He is the key to the Lions offense.
Royster moves out to a short slot on the left. With the backfield empty, throws incomplete. It'll bring down the third down. Deon Butler was the intended target there, number 3.
Brent, anytime you have a game of this magnitude where there's so much hype and you're a big underdog, success, early success, so important. Penn State over the year has had a lot of success completing third down in the Big Ten. This speed and this USC defense is a whole different deal that they're trying to deal with today.
The Remington Award winner, A.Q. Shipley, up over the ball. He's the Nittany Lions center. You can see the pressing defense, and they back away. Incomplete and almost intercepted. Mayava. Perhaps the unheralded and underrated of the 3 linebackers. You don't find 3 better linebackers than Cushing, Mawaluga, and Mayava than these 3 of the Trojans.
Yeah, well, Mayava definitely does not get the... Mayava does not get the attention, as you said, as Mawaluga does in Cushing, but the athletic ability and speed that he brings to the table, replacing Keith Rivers this year, has really been appreciated by Pete Carroll.
So Jeremy Boone will punt it away to Stephen Johnson. Stephen's going to try to return it. Down at the 27-yard line, and now Kirk, let's turn our attention to the Taco Bell USC impact players.
Well, they have a number of players that can make things happen. Stephon Johnson is probably the most gifted between the tackles, and you'll see him out there a number of times having important carries for USC. Damian Williams, the transfer from Arkansas, sat out last year after transferring, has had a huge year this year for the Trojans, and he hopes to be able to stay on the field today, battling an injury with his shoulder. And then Joe McKnight, much like Derek Williams, is the X factor here for the Trojans.
They open with 2 running backs, Stephon and Joe McKnight, and that is McKnight stepping in motion, and they'll flip it to him immediately. And over there on him is a terrific linebacker. That is Bowman. Navarro Bowman is a young man who could break into the starting linebacking core here with USC. He is that good.
Very athletic. Will put a lot of pressure today on USC, but tackling in space out in the open field will be important. Mark Sanchez will look to distribute the football, and we touched on Joe McKnight. You're going to see him moved around and within this offense to just get his hands on the football.
Anthony McCoy was 86th, tight end, throwing short and underneath to the tight end. Out of bounds on that far side. Tony Davis, number 11, defensive back for the Nittany Lions.
USC can attack in so many ways. They're so balanced. They love to start running the football, and then they'll go to the bootlegs and play action to try to get you out of position, and they'll throw to the tight end. They'll throw to the fullback. They'll find the backs out of the backfield, and because Mark Sanchez is so athletic, they'll constantly move the pocket to try to stay away from the pressure of Penn State's defensive line.
That's Stephon Johnson coming outside on this 3rd and 4, backfield empty. Pump fake not open. Bowman tripped him up, but Sanchez short of the first down. the defenses hold both of them.
Penn State with some zone pressure here on third down, slanting their defensive line, creating some confusion up front, and eventually the pressure caves in on Mark Sanchez. Huge for the Lions to get the football back early in this game.
Greg Woidnick. Here comes Williams. Fair catch at the 12-yard line, and it'll be the Nittany Lions coming up with their second series of this game. Well, some folks thought it was going to be low scoring. Might be at that.
The kids have been wanting to go to the safari theme park since last summer. So we used our City Cash Returns card to buy the tickets and stuff.
So cool.
It was great to get close to the animals, but not that close. Luckily, we used the cash we got back to help pay for some body work.
Earn unlimited cash back with your City Cash Returns card to make every dollar count. Whatever your story is, your City Cash Returns card can help you write it, because City never sleeps.
You put your foot down and it just goes.
It's kind of saying, "Rrr."
The Hemi did it. I love it. It's awesome. Yeah! That Hemi hits hard. Bam! Boom! Truck just kicked into gear.
I completely forgot I was pulling a trailer.
It was a smooth ride. Fantastic. That's how we roll.
You want to dance? What you got?
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly to destinations nationwide for just $49 to $99. Purchased by January 19th. Low fares, no hidden fees.
First and second round coverage of the Masters, coming in April on ESPN.
This ESPN telecast available in high definition on ABC HD. No matter what your definition, there's no prettier sight than the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California on New Year's Day. Fans, Nittany Lions all in white. They bring the fullback Lawler in now. Now they get back to Royster, who breaks to the second level. First down, their best offensive play of the game to the 29-yard line.
Brent, that's exactly what Penn State has to do. Run right into the middle. Here's the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. You can see the blocking up front. Good job of sustaining the blocks, and that gives you an idea of how quick Evan Royster is to the hole and through the hole. That's the difference between Royster from last year and this year, is the burst that he brings to this offense. You have to run through right to the middle of the speed of this USC defense.
15 yards with his first carry. They leave Lawler in as that lead fullback. And Royster slips into the heart of that D as he comes across the 30-yard line that time. So this offensive line, Lando, Wisniewski, Shipley, Ornberger, Cadogan, this will be the key. 76, 64, 57, 61, and 73. Can the Nittany Lions hang in? Can they get USC into the fourth quarter in a close game?
But the strength of the SC defense is the linebackers in the secondary. If there's one area that Penn State feels they can control, it's the line of scrimmage. It's a long way to go in pass protection and run blocking, but that gives them confidence here these last couple plays.
3 times in a row. Number 22, Evan Royster from Fairfax, Virginia. Here are the youngsters up front. Shipley, one of the co-captains, he's the leader. Wisniewski, part of that great Wisniewski family tradition, 3 generations of all played Penn State. Cadogan, outstanding left tackle over there. You'll watch these fellows in the trenches all day long. And note the 7 up front for the Trojans. This is as good a matchup as you'll see all bowl season long. Taylor Mays, the safety, presses the line now. They expect a running play, and they got it.
one thing to try to control the line of scrimmage, but when you play against USC, you cannot become predictable, because then you have linebackers that start attacking downhill. That time, Clay Matthews coming off the edge, Cushing, Maluga, right into the middle of that offensive line, realizing that it's going to be a run on 3rd and short and stopping the Lions short of the first down.
Maluga coming in from behind made absolutely certain, didn't he, Kirk, that Royster was not going to get to that first down marker. Boone punting for the 2nd time here today. Johnson back deep. Stephon Johnson. There are 2 Johnsons now related on the Trojan team. Fair catch is signaled inside the 15-yard line. Field position staying pretty equal. Your storyline so far, the defenses have the upper hand. Always a great spectacle. There's Cloris Leachman. She was the Grand Marshal. I have never seen a livelier 82-year-old. I mean,
you know firsthand, big fella.
What a lovely, lovely lady she is. Handoff now is along with Gable. Gable's first carry of the game, and he comes to the 21-yard line. So C.J. Gable, who opened the UCLA game as the starting running back, fumbled, which led to a Bruin touchdown, put USC behind. He never saw the light of day after that. He was a little bit unhappy. But what coaches dislike more than anything in the world, Kirk, is losing the football.
No doubt about that. Probably athletically and physically the most complete running back was C.J. Gable, but we'll see all 3 of them tonight, Gable, Johnson, and Joe McKnight, and they all have over 600 yards rushing on the year.
Stanley Havili out, an academic problem, and so that means a freshman is in there operating at fullback as Gable could not get the first down, and he's upended by Lydell Sargent.
You've not seen Penn State play this year, and you kind of have the stereotype that it's a Penn State defense from the Big Ten, and they're slow and they're physical. You might be surprised to see how fast this defense can really run sideline to sideline because of the experience that this group has and the linebacking crew, and the way they can get penetration, especially off of the edge, it puts a lot of pressure on the offensive linemen.
He grew up, though, originally back in Pennsylvania. Was always a huge Penn State fan. Gable slashes for the first down. The initial first down to the 31-yard line, and Mark Rubin.
Just a great job up front here. Rhett Ellison, the tight end, number 40, gets a push out on Bowman. And look at the seal block to the outside there. The big right tackle, Butch Lewis, does a nice job. Look at this hole open up. 3rd down. Open it up, and these backs, if you give them a seam, they have plenty of speed to be able to get through there.
And tight end Anthony McCoy knocked Tyrell Sales, a linebacker, off his feet. End around. And they bring Joe McKnight, lining him up. Kirk, just like you said, lining him up all over the field.
They will move him around, and all 3 of these running backs. I mean, when locally people are saying, why didn't one guy become the guy? I mean, why have 3 different tailbacks all go over 600 yards? But they all bring something a little bit different to the table. I think you and I agree today could be a game, much like last year's Rose Bowl, where Joe McKnight is featured because of his big playability against this Penn State defense.
Coach McNair talking to Gable. McKnight twists, spins, and picks up the first down, apparently. Well, you compare these 2 defenses, and you take a look at the numbers, and I'll tell you the one that I focus on, Herbie, USC allowing only 7.8 points a game. Folks, in 8 of their 12 games, they shut out the opposition. That is 8 second-half shutouts in the game. Now, meanwhile, Tom Bradley, who was running the sideline for the defense for the Nittany Lions, now they're pretty good defense too.
Joe McKnight now all the way at the bottom of your screen here.
So they continue to move in from the gun. Sanchez has hit fumble, ball's down. Pressure from down behind. Do we have the game's first turnover? We have a yellow flag at the 43-yard line. The Nittany Lions think that they have recovered a fumble, and Shaw agrees. Obviously, instant replay upstairs will be taking a look at this play.
I want to see if Aaron Maben, he got such a good jump off the line of scrimmage. Did he get too good a jump? He's lined up off sides. Possibly 59, Aaron Maben, the All-American, who had 12 sacks this year for Penn State. He got
offsides. Number 59 on the defense. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. Will repeat first down.
USC, a big risk by putting Sanchez back there alone with an empty backfield.
I will tell you, Joe Paterno is furious about that. He had to discipline Maben a little bit during the week. Took him off the ones, lined him up as the twos. That's inexcusable.
And it looked like he just lined up off sides, then had the quick jump. Tried to take advantage right here. Charles Brown, the left tackle. But as this game continues on, the speed off of the edge from Maurice Evans, 48, and Aaron Maben, 59, is something SC has to be concerned about. Watch play action and going vertical here from SC.
They don't go empty after that. Keep a fullback and a running back down the middle, incomplete, overthrew. So Bowman has come out after that first series. He injured a hand. They taped it. Now they're putting a glove on the leading tackler for the Nittany Lions. We saw the hand being tended to after the first series down below. This was a little bit earlier.
It's a big play he made on third down. Forced the first punt for USC. It's going to take a lot to keep him out of this football game.
Fake. McKnight close to that first down marker. Sales making the stop for Penn State.
Right now, both offensive coordinators just trying to get a feel of what each defense is doing. In talking and getting ready for this game, it was interesting hearing about how with such a long layoff, it takes usually a quarter in these big games for everybody to settle down, adjust to the speed of the game, because you can't duplicate that with your scout teams. So right now, Steve Sarkisian, I think, is just trying to get his guys settled down and kind of get a beat on what Penn State's doing.
Galen Hall up in the Penn State booth calling plays across the way. We saw Sarkisian, and we must tell you, of course, that this is his last game at USC. He is the head coach of the University of Washington, and he will go up to Seattle tomorrow. He's already been introduced along with his family up there. And Kirk, I know that you believe that he's going to do an excellent job with the Huskies.
Of course, it's going to take some time to recruit, but he has had an interesting month in this month of December, Brent, coaching and getting ready for this bowl game, and then switching hats, so to speak, and then going out and recruiting for the Huskies.
Bowman back on the field for the Lions. Pump fake by Sanchez. He got a man open, and he overthrew him again. And that was Patrick Turner, the senior from Tennessee, Nashville way, working deep on that far sideline.
That is great discipline from the Penn State defense. And Lydell Sargent, who, by the way, is from California and very excited to be in this game. I talked just a few snaps earlier about play action and the vertical passing game. That's what SC loves to do. They love to kind of lull you to sleep with the running game, the short passing game, and then they try to get you out of position, and they want to go over top for a big play, especially with their speedy receivers.
Williams moves in motion. Fires on that slant close to a first down, and that's Big McCoy, the 6'5", 255 junior tight end from Fresno, California.
From the time that you and I had USC against Ohio State early in the year to where this offense is now, I think the two players that have improved the most would be the big tight end Anthony McCoy, and I think Mark Sanchez, just naturally through game experience. But McCoy, I think, is now much more confident and a real weapon for Mark Sanchez.
Dancing for the first down and breaking to daylight, Stephon Johnson, number 13.
Well, this is a great picture of seeing Stephon Johnson's strength and why he gets so many carries. The patience, the vision, the cutback, and also he's probably the most naturally gifted back that they have. Does a nice job of just waiting for the play to develop and then bouncing it to the outside and getting upfield for a first down.
Pete Carroll and the Trojans would dearly love to close this drive off for a couple of reasons. And Stephon just picked up 13 yards because Beeler misfired against UCLA 3 times. Middle, touchdown, Trojans strike first. That's Williams, the transfer from Arkansas.
Look at Mark Sanchez's eyes. He looks off to his left, knowing exactly where he wants to go with the football, and throws a strike to the backside there to Damian Williams. A good job of using the eyes there by the junior quarterback.
Beeler tacks on the extra point. USC strikes first. You're watching the 95th Rose Bowl from Pasadena, presented by Citi on ABC. Welcome you back to the 95th Rose Bowl game, presented by Citi. USC, winners of the last 2 Rose Bowls, lead Penn State for the Big Ten 7-0 here in the opening quarter with 4:12 to go. There's the young man who developed into the #1 target for Sanchez as the season progressed. And Williams into the end zone for the first touchdown. Beeler's line drive rockets out of the end zone. Comes on the 20. Let's go back to the score.
Well, the center fielder, Anthony Scrotto, the free safety right here, is going to work to this side. Damian Williams is here, and he's going to break to the middle. The timing here and how quickly Sanchez gets rid of the football does not allow Scrotto to get back to make the play. That's well-timed and a great execution there by Damian Williams, who's developed into being Mark Sanchez's favorite target. We were talking at the break. This is a very important series if you're a Penn State football player or fan.
Yep. First down, throwing in underneath, and it is complete to Brett Brackett, a sophomore receiver from New Jersey.
See, this is what Penn State has to do. It's okay to want to run the football north and south, but play action pass, throwing the football with Darryl Clark on 1st and 10 has to be involved in the repertoire today as far as slowing down USC.
That was Darryl's first completion of the game. He's 1 of 3. Play fake and in trouble. Incomplete. Mayava probably didn't see it coming. If he had turned around earlier, who knows?
Yeah, you're right. He turned his head, Brent, to look back to find Schuler after he came up. You see him turn his head, and once he does that, he's unable to locate the football. But again, the SC pressure more this time coming in, deflecting that football and putting Penn State now in 3rd down and short.
Royster not on the field. And that is Derek Williams. Option first down.
This is an outstanding job by Darryl Clark of waiting and waiting to make the defense finally commit down and then dealing it to the outside. Griffin kind of played a little bit of a cat and mouse game with him, making him try to string it out, but he does a nice job of continuing to attack Griffin and still giving Derek Williams enough time to the outside and a little alley there to pick up the first down that the Lions desperately needed.
Taylor Mays continues to play deep center field. Kevin Ellison, the other safety, out with an injury, so Will Harris is also playing. Royster back on the field, works the sideline on first down. And that was Brian Cushing, another one of the outstanding linebackers for the Trojans, number 10. He'll be playing Sunday football next year.
Starting to see some real battles in the trenches between these two teams on both sides of the ball. That time, Mickey Schuler and Everson Griffin going toe-to-toe there, trying to get the edge. Schuler eventually wins the battle and gets Royster to the corner there to pick up 3 yards.
Play fake, has to throw quickly. Here's Williams. They put it in his hands again for another first down. Moving him around, Will Harris forced to make the play.
And brought the safety blitz this time, Taylor Mays. And Taylor Mays, by taking this chance here, he comes off to the left. He realizes right away Clark does a really good job of gathering himself and delivering the football here, because this happens fast. Mays comes on his blitz. He doesn't buy the play fake. He gets right into the face of Clark. Clark shows the toughness and makes an accurate throw for the first down to Derek Williams.
Norwood moves over to the right side of the formation. Stepping up in the pocket. Penalty flag flies. Wide open is Butler. Butler still on his feet. 20. Remember, there's a penalty flag, however. Butler with a brilliant run inside the 10-yard line, but the penalty marker is down. Nittany Lions have already had one bad break, offside on an apparent turnover. Now a 45-yard play is coming back.
Illegal shift on the offense. Number 3 went in motion before all players were set and never stopped.
Wow.
That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's the second crucial mental mistake. Not just a play that goes against you, Brent, but a crucial mental error by Penn State. Butler goes into motion there, as you heard, before everybody was settled. So at that point, all bets are off. This play does not work. Great execution, a perfect throw, and bring it back now for 1st and 15.
You continue to make mental mistakes against these fellows from USC. You back the bus up early.
Yep. They don't need any help.
First and 15 after the penalty. Royster, left side. Picks a hole. Gets back just beyond the original line of scrimmage. Mayaba, number 43, has been a very active linebacker.
So by throwing Brent on 1st and 10, which Galen Hall, the offensive coordinator, told us this week, I said, you know, what do you do against this kind of defense? He said, we've got to do what we do, which is be very diversified, attack them. We cannot be passive and hold back. We've got to be aggressive with our play calling. I think this is really the first drive we're starting to see that from Penn State.
Stephon Green, freshman, redshirt freshman from the Bronx, is now in as a running back. He has top-end speed if they can get him to daylight. They play fake. They're going to throw the screen to him, and here he comes. He breaks the first tackle. Gets to the 36-yard line, and Taylor Mays, the safety, the center fielder today, makes the stop. A 16-yard burst.
Another great call here by Galen Hall. And Clark starting to, I think, settle down and make some great throws and some really good decisions here for this offense. And Brent, you've touched on it. We've watched this young man here, Stephon Green, when he gets into the lineup. He's a great complement to the more powerful Royster. I think he's probably the best home run threat that the Lions have had since going all the way back to '94 when they had Kajana Carter.
Kajana Carter exploded in that Rose Bowl victory against Oregon that day. Here is Stephon. Stays in as the tailback. Time. Slam. Got it. Butler inside the 10-yard line.
This is Darryl Clark in a nutshell right here in the 2008 season. Watch him stand in the pocket. What presence, what arm strength, and delivers an absolute strike downfield into the teeth of the USC defense. Great route by Butler. The ball is thrown to the inside away from Pinkert. Again, I think right now we're starting to see Darryl Clark settle in here for this Nittany Lion offense. Outstanding execution on this drive.
Pinkert, senior corner, had a fine years out of Oxnard. Timeout is called by Darryl Clark. We'll take a break from Pasadena. USC leads, but Penn State is threatened. Well, coming Tuesday, January 6th to ABC, by land, by air, and by sea, These are the real stories of the heroes who protect us all. Homeland Security USA Series premiere Tuesday at 8, 7 Central, right here on ABC. So the Nittany Lions with a 1st and goal. They were at the 9-yard line, but a penalty brought that back, and now they have reached that spot again. Clark on a quarterback draw. Set to the middle, end zone, touchdown. Barrels in. John Elway could not have run this any better. Kevin Kelly from Langhorne, Pennsylvania. The senior will attempt to tie it up here with his left foot. A huge answer.
Unbelievable job here by Darryl Clark and getting the offense to settle down. A great call, and what amazing blocks downfield. Think about this now. We've been talking about this USC defense being the best maybe of all time. Look at the Penn State receivers and linemen sustaining blocks, getting downfield, and allowing Clark to get some momentum established and then barreling into the end zone for a much-needed touchdown here for Penn State. That's not just a score that ties the game, Brent. That's a score that gets the Nittany Lions to believe that they belong in the same field with USC.
Royster being tended to by the medical staff. He was injured throwing a block on Clark's touchdown run. He moved out and was one of the blockers. It did not appear to be serious when he was shaken up. Also to note, Herbie, I thought that was the first time that the Trojans really missed Ellison as a cleanup safety back there. Hard hitter.
That's right.
Stepping up into the hole.
Yep. Things get interesting. It's really interesting.
Final seconds of the opening quarter, and there is Kevin Ellison, one of the co-captains, senior from Inglewood, California, unable to play today because of an injury. This will come out to the 20-yard line. Let's go down below to Lisa.
Well, Brent, Darryl Clark, I had a chance to speak to him just last night, and I asked him, you know, Darryl, what are you guys feeling about what they've been saying about you guys not really having a chance? And he said, can I go off the record? And I said, no. I want to hear honestly what you think. And he said, okay, I'll tell you. We're tired of hearing it. We're annoyed. We know they're a good team, but so are we. I know all about the stats. They have impressive numbers, but they have not played us yet. Guys?
Lisa, every reporter should have listened to you when you said, no, I don't want it off the record, because you might have gotten it from somebody else. Good work. 1st down and 10. Sanchez from under center has time, and coming through now is Ronald Johnson with his first reception, the sophomore from Muskegon, Michigan, as our first quarter comes to an end. Looks like a good one, folks. And this presentation of the Rose Bowl game presented by Citi will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. We welcome you back to the 95th Rose Bowl game presented by Citi. Penn State 7, USC 7. As we begin the second quarter with more than 20,000 Penn State fans on hand. Almost looks like a whiteout back in Happy Valley, doesn't it? 1st down and 10 now for Sanchez. Middle, complete. Turner.
This is what they love to do. Get you to the outside and then try to hit the seams. The DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam here gives an idea of what Mark Sanchez can do in the arm strength. When Penn State sits in cover 3 with 3 defensive backs dropping deep, there's a seam between the corner, in this case, number 11, Tony Davis, and the safety, Scarrato, and it takes a very strong-arm quarterback to be able to get it in there low enough and fast enough to get it to the receiver before the safety comes over. Another good throw.
26 yards, Adam Goodman. is now in as the fullback. McKnight is the tailback. Play fake, and Sanchez going to keep it in the air. Got another man wide open, and McCoy breaks down to the 11-yard line, and they're having a hard time matching up against the 6'5", 255-pound tight end.
Well, USC clearly has made up their mind to try to get the ball downfield to the athletic ability and also take advantage of the arm of Mark Sanchez. People have talked about Sanchez and said, boy, what's been wrong with him this year, because he hasn't had the huge year. People expecting him maybe to win the Heisman Trophy. But you can see the physical ability and the fact that the talent around him is improved allows Sanchez to be very effective today.
6 of 8 so far for over 100 yards throwing. Now they come back with McKnight on the toss. And the Nittany Lions were ready for that play, and Aaron Maben, who cost them dearly by lining up offside, making the stop. Maurice Evans started in that spot today, number 48, the junior from Brooklyn. If nothing else, the Nittany Lion defensive line, Kirk, is one of the deepest that we have seen all season because of injuries and suspensions.
Absolutely.
Some other players stepped in, like Maben, and developed their games as the season wore on in the Midwest.
I think it's really developed into a real strength. And right now, I think they're holding their own, defending the run. Not so much right now in this drive against the pass.
Yeah, the corners are under attack. Has to dump it off now to McKnight in the flat, and McKnight with that speed gets back close to the 5-yard line.
And this is a nice job here by Sanchez. Wants to get it downfield. Last minute, feels the pressure, dumps it to the outlet here. And when you just get the ball as a dump off to Joe McKnight in the open field, it becomes a real strength because it's so tough to catch him in the open field. He cuts back and picks up so many yards, and also a nice block along the way.
I believe he's shaken up. McKnight is down.
He's had a turf toe that's bothered him throughout most of this year, and you wonder if maybe he's re-aggravated. He's reaching down towards that left foot.
Stephon Johnson, number 13, has already checked in to the game. Sanchez, meanwhile, over on Pete Carroll's sideline. Peter Sarkisian talking about it with Johnny Morton upstairs, helping out with the play calling today.
Brent, I think you and I would agree with Joe McKnight. Even though there's a good stable of backs here, you lose the home run threat if this is a serious injury or if he has re-aggravated something.
We're going to take a break as the medical staff tends to McKnight, and we'll be right back with an update. Injury. McKnight walking off the field on his own power, but he took a blow here, Herbie.
Yeah, towards the end of the play, the left foot, you can see he gets rolled. And we'll have to keep close tabs on Joe McKnight. This is a big third down here for USC.
They empty out the backfield. Here comes another quarterback draw. This one by Sanchez. Touchdown. Both quarterbacks run in for scores. And this one puts USC ahead again for the second time. David Beeler. His holder is the punter, Greg Roynick. Cooper Stevenson will have the snap. 7-point lead again by USC. The last two drives have both been touchdown drives by the Trojans. Their offense is starting to step it up a little bit. Can the Nittany Lions answer again, though? We'll find out. Come by you. And now they're attempting to put a knee brace over here on Evan Royster, who went over to the sideline. This would be a major developing story with the Nittany Lions. Stephon Green, the redshirt freshman, would have to start this series, we would think, until they find the appropriate brace. A late decision to come out. And short of the 20-yard line is Chaz Powell as we go back to the score.
Well, USC decides to not even touch the speed rush from Penn State. They're going to use 5 of their linemen to block 2 defensive tackles. So Mark Sanchez knows nobody's touching the speed off the edge. I've got to take 1 step back and then follow the surge of my 5 linemen against 2 defensive tackles. If he doesn't get upfield quick enough, it's an easy play for Maben and Evans, but he does a nice job of executing. And right now, Mark Sanchez is on fire for this USC offense.
Darryl Clark brings Stephon Green and the rest of the offense out. Stephon, and he is ridden down by Ama. And let's go down to Lisa.
Well, Brent, as you could see, they were working on Evan Royster's left knee. I'm being told that it's a left knee sprain. And as you saw, they're trying to fit him for a knee brace. He is going to try to go back into the game, but he looked very upset on the sideline during that entire USC drive. And he was telling redshirt freshman Stephon Green, this is your time. Go in there and get my back. Brent?
Well, he's out there right now, Lisa, number 21. He's set up behind the fullback, Big Dan Lawler. Comes Stephon, picking his way patiently and diving toward that first down marker. He's very close. And Maava, again, number 43 has been the most active of the 3 linebackers so far.
Well, we'll keep an eye on Evan Royster, but Green is more than capable of carrying the load. But I think durability becomes a question, which means a true freshman, Brandon Beecham, possibly comes in to take some snaps. He's a physical runner. Freshman out of Youngstown, Ohio. Also, Derek Williams is an option if they have to put him in the backfield to take some snaps as well.
3rd down and 1. Let's see if Shipley and Clark attempt to pick this up. There is Derek going out wide. Short of the first down. Monstrous hit by Kyle Moore, the senior defensive end from Georgia.
Well, it is so tough to execute against USC when they know the run is coming. They get a running start. The safeties, the linebackers. Brent, you talked about Moore winning a stalemate there against Ornberger. When you give that defensive line an opportunity to battle and know that that run is coming, it's just too hard to execute. I think the sneak there works a lot better. That play took way too long to develop.
Absolutely. Stephon Johnson back. The Trojans have scored touchdowns in their last 2 possessions now. And they're going to have real good field position. 8 trips, and it goes by, and this will take a Nittany line bounce. A break as it is down at the 16-yard line. A 56-yard punt as Stephon slips, attempting to make the fair catch. 95th Rose Bowl game presented by Citi. On a beautiful Thursday afternoon. Happy New Year, everybody. 2009. Let's hope it's better than 2008, huh? Glad to see that rascal disappear. 14-7. Football and the lead. Quick flip out to the side. Williams, who scored their first touchdown. And now it's time for the Duck. The Aflac Rose Bowl trivia question. All right, folks. Since Joe Pa became the head coach, how many head coaches have the Trojans had since Joe became the head coach at Penn State?
You let me cheat last night.
Yeah, I did.
Was that how we're gonna start off the 09 year? Give me a little help there.
That's absolutely right. You worked long and hard with game day. Now we got a personal foul call here.
Yeah.
And that gets tacked on.
Scarrato came in there a little late, close to the boundary. Williams is fighting for some yardage. What you couldn't see there, or hear rather, is the whistles had blown well before Scarrato hit Williams. And so they're going to add 15 more yards. Another mental error here for the Lions in this first half.
Breaking to daylight is Johnson tripped up at the 40-yard line. Scarrato hanging on, and it looks like we've got another penalty back by the 44-yard line.
Wow, this is outstanding execution by USC.
Might have been a reason for it.
Yeah, well.
Holding.
Except for the
number
hold.
61 on the offense.
To the outside.
That'll be a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
That's their fine young center, Christopher O'Dowd.
O'Dowd locked up on Josh Hull, the middle linebacker, but off to the right side of the offensive line. If they start to have an ability to get to the second level against Penn State, that's where they can have real success running the football. See, Penn State wants to eat up the blocks with their down linemen and then allow their 3 linebackers and 2 safeties to corral the ball carrier and chase him down. That's their top 5 tacklers on his defense are the 3 backers and the 2 safeties.
High and reaching up and grabbing its Turner. Good size on these Trojan receivers. 6'5", 6'1", 6'5", 6'2".
See, he is all of a sudden really starting to feel good, and I think the game plan has changed with Steve Sarkisian, where now they're thinking pass first and run second, whereas early in the game I think they were trying to run the football, kind of establish that and get their play-action pass game going off the run game. Now they're just saying, we're going to take advantage of our athletic ability on the perimeter and attack this Penn State defense through the air.
Play fake. Time. Oh, beautiful turn in by Williams. What a beautiful pattern he just ran.
Brent, this ball was in the air for a full second until Damian Williams decided to come out of his break. Watch to the far left. I don't know if you can see, but the football, look at the last second. That's what you see by some quarterbacks on Sunday in the NFL. Ball's in the air, he comes out, boom, it's on him. So even if the coverage was great by Sargent, the ball is perfectly thrown, and by doing that, it gives Williams time to get upfield after the catch and pick up 35 yards.
From the 20. Sanchez high, and I think the reason why it was high, his back foot slipped as he was setting up as we go down below to Lisa.
Von Johnson and C.J. Gable are going to have to carry the load in the USC backfield. Joe McKnight, I'm told, out for the rest of the game. That sprained toe, the same toe that's been bothering him all season long. He has already gone back to the locker room. Right.
So Joe McKnight, who was their hero last New Year's Day against the Fighting Illini of Illinois, is done for the day. But like Kirk has said, there's talent galore in that backfield. 2nd down and 10. Quick strike back out to the outside, and that's Osbury's first reception. And he's a 6'4" fella. So everywhere you look at these receivers, there's just great size.
Well, that's the dangerous thing here for Penn State with undersized secondaries. Patrick Turner is 6'5", Osbury is 6'4". The big tight end, Anthony McCoy, 86, is coming in at 6'5". And Penn State, you have to make up your mind. You're going to try to stop the size and speed on the outside, and if you do that, you leave the tight end all alone to work on the undersized safety. So right now, that's a mismatch for USC.
Sanchez has thrown for 179 yards, and he adds to his total, going back to McCoy. So Beeler trots onto the field. Williams was over there congratulating his quarterback on that read on that sideline pattern that they ran, and this is a 30-yard field goal. Tacks on 3 more. USC's lead is 10, 17-7. Our Aflac trivia question: how many head coaches have the Trojans had since 1966? Well, if you said a half dozen, you would be, I'm going to say, semi-right. John Robinson had 2 tours, remember? John McKay, of course, was the coach of the Trojans. Ted Tolner, like Larry Smith, Paul Hackett, and, of course, Pete Carroll. In terms of wins, folks, Joe Paul leads 383 to 367. Absolutely amazing.
It's incredible. 3 more years added to his contract. Line
drive, scooped up by Williams. cuts to the middle, and there's a penalty flag down. This one must have been fairly obvious, huh? There was a couple yellow flags down there on the return.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 25 on the receiving team, half the distance to the goal. It'll be 1st and 10.
Penn State's made 3 mistakes now, big ones here. Well, folks, coming in April, relive the majesty of Augusta. Former Masters winners Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods battle the reigning champion Trevor Immelman for the 2009 green jacket as the 1st and 2nd round coverage of the Masters comes to ESPN in April. 1st down and 10 for Clark and the Nittany Lions. Green continues to be the tailback. Royster still out with that knee injury. Clark has plenty of time. Incomplete and a penalty flag. Interference is going to be called on Kerry Harris. He was holding.
He got tangled up with Butler as Butler is trying to get to the outside. And as you said, Brent, that'll be much needed break for USC here.
Holding, number 7 on the defense. That'll be a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
And Butler is one of the great threats in this Penn State offense. Gives a move to the inside for Harris. Harris just locks him up. Ball's pretty well thrown. They still almost completed it, but an obvious call for these officials who are doing a great job so far in this Rose Bowl.
2 penalties against the Trojans now. That's the 2nd, but there have been 4 against the Nittany Lions. In trouble. Gets it off in time. And he hits Brackett, the sophomore, for the 2nd time today.
This is a good call. This is a very good call. Easy throw if you can recognize the pressure. And that's the 2nd time that Daryl Clark, coming off of a play-action fake, has had to get his head turned around quickly because of either a linebacker or a defensive end is closing down on him quickly. Good job of getting his head around and making a good, accurate throw.
Fili Moala, one of the fine defensive linemen, gets down in his stance. Clark not going to get the 1st down. It'll be 3rd down coming up for the Nittany Lions.
Play kind of got clogged there as Codigan tried to come around. There's just nowhere to go because USC got penetration. Daryl Clark has got to become a factor at some point in this game with his legs. We saw him with the big touchdown run on that, the best drive that Penn State clearly has had throughout the game. And other than that, we've really not seen his ability to make plays with his feet. And that, again, at some point will have to come into play to help the Lions.
Hit on the release, and it is 4th down. Cushing. Brian Cushing, the senior from New Jersey. 2 years ago against Michigan, he was the defensive MVP.
Maluga gets most of the attention, but what quickness. He gives a little olay there to Ormberger, who's a nasty offensive guard from Penn State, and he has the size to get in there and be able to penetrate, but also you can see there the athletic ability to just get right around him.
Stephon Johnson awaits Boone's punt. Goes out of bounds on the far side. Going to be marked there at about the 33-yard line. 17-7, the Trojans. He still holds the receiving record. He did that against Northwestern in the mid-90s. Better than 200 yards. 1st down and 10. Here's a handoff now to Stephon.
One thing about this football game is you can start to feel the field starting to slant one way, and the momentum clearly on the side of USC. after Penn State had that touchdown drive, 3 straight 3-and-outs. Meanwhile, Mark Sanchez just warming up. The success that Sanchez has right now is because they're throwing the football. And the success of running and throwing, that combination is giving Penn State fits. They've got to start to get penetration and get pressure on number 6.
Penetrate, and Johnson battles on. So with McKnight out, Stephon Johnson picking up most of the reps here. C.J. Gable, of course, over there on the sideline, and behind them would be Mark Taylor, the redshirt freshman. I should say Tyler. I'll correct myself on that, of course. He's the son of the great Wendell Tyler, who played crosstown at UCLA. Goodman, coming off a knee injury, is the fullback offset to the right. They're going to roll Sanchez. Wide open, and he got his favorite target. He got Williams.
USC, this is the bread and butter. Play action, roll Sanchez out, move the pocket away from the Penn State speed, and then go to the second level. You saw Stephon Johnson at the first level. He had a receiver going downfield in Turner just to kind of clear out the zone, and there it's voided. Ball's thrown on time, and you can see the timing between Mark Sanchez and Damian Williams. Today, they are really in sync and feeling good together.
Gable now the running back. Gable, and a penalty flag. Our officiating crew is from the SEC and the BCS games. They always choose a crew from outside of the conferences of the competing teams.
Offsides on the defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
Too many mistakes, Herbie. This is not like a Joe Paterno coach team.
5th penalty now for Penn State in the first half. Tom Bradley, the defensive coordinator, has to be concerned about this because this is just something we've not seen from Penn State. And a lot of that has to do with the team that you're going up against. Start to anticipate counts. You start to do some things that you typically wouldn't do because of the talent you're facing.
Trojans keep it on top, and he couldn't get it off. Our first sack of the game, Bowman. Navarro Bowman, the sophomore from Maryland.
Bowman had to fight to get through here. Pretty good job, actually, Brent, of the pass protection. It was just great coverage downfield. Bowman's going to go up against Charles Brown, the junior, 6'6", 295-pound left tackle. But you can see that he has a tenacity. He just does not give up on the play. And eventually, because of the coverage, he's able to get there and bring Sanchez down.
About 2.5 minutes left here in the first half. Lions would love to have another crack at it. And here is Williams. Off him too far. First down. Cannot give him a cushion like that, huh?
All right, now we've just seen, and it's a good job of recognizing it by Sarkisian and this SC offense. They're just exposing the Penn State secondary. It's a mismatch at this point, whether it's the speedy Damian Williams or if it's the size with Turner or especially the big tight end. Sarkisian right now really feeling good with his play selections, and they have turned the tables on his football game completely, where they now have all the confidence and the momentum.
Sanchez is 14 of 17 for 211 yards and a touchdown in this game. Gable's in trouble and going down. Odrick, one of the defensive tackles, is in on that play along with Bowman again.
Balance, such a big part of USC and who they are, and they're off to a pretty good start, but you can see the success right now is coming through the air, picking up huge chunks of yardage, but it's important to still run the football just to let Penn State know it's there.
Here's the bad news for Penn State, folks. 8 times this year, 8 of their 12 games, okay? The USC defense has pitched a shutout. They have allowed in the second half throughout the 12 games only 3 touchdowns. It's going to be unbelievable.
Well, it's going to be a tough task, and not to mention at some point to get back into the football game, the defense has got to start to make plays and not just slow them down. They've got to create turnovers. They've got to get the football back to their own offense, and you're talking about a USC offense that right now is just really starting to really find an identity in this football game. So you put the numbers up 8 of 12 times, nobody scored a point on them. Right now, I think if you're a Penn State football player, you're thinking, guys, we have got to be able to attack on defense. It's not just a matter of surviving, it's about attacking.
Meanwhile, Pete Carroll wants to go for the juggler here late in the first half. Deep middle and dropped. Incomplete. Turner had a crack at it and couldn't hold on as he came down. It was close.
They are attacking the seams of this Penn State defense because Penn State continues. This is what they do. This is their defense. They'll drop a safety to the middle of the field and get back deep. Corners to the outside. It creates a huge void, and that's where they're trying to get the USC wide receivers into that seam, that post route that they've had a lot of success with.
Now Kirk Ascarino made a fine play, knocking that ball free, or Turner would have had a completion. Under pressure, throws Williams underneath. Williams going for the first down. Got it, out of bounds. Still got a minute and a half to work with. That's an eternity.
It's tough to get pressure on Sanchez when he comes back, takes 5 steps. You get a good blitz, but he still gets the football off. It's a risk you have to be willing to take. You got to like it. You got to like the aggressiveness from Penn State. SC didn't pick it up, but still, Sanchez is a recognition of the blitz and just enough time for Damian Williams to clear, come across the middle, and you can see the speed and why these USC coaches love this young man right here.
Damian making a move on Keyshawn Johnson. 6 catches for 118 now. End zone, touchdown USC. Beautiful read, and Ronald Johnson, the sophomore from Michigan. Sanchez is now carving up the Nittany Lions secondary.
We just talked about how they're going right between the corner and the safety, and that's exactly where Mark Sanchez went again. It's an area that I think they came into this football game pretty confident and felt they could have some success. They're splitting the seams, the perimeter of this Penn State defense.
Beeler tacks on another extra point.
This has to be the 4th or 5th time that they've had a receiver work to the post, right into the seam. See, you have one defensive back in Wallace to the outside. The safety unable to get over. Johnson picks up the blitz there from Bowman. See how you have to be able to get back and throw the football with a lot of velocity, and Sanchez has plenty of arm strength to be able to get it in there. And unless you get out of that coverage, Brent, I don't know how you stop that play.
Sanchez is going to have his future evaluated by the National Football League, as will several of these wide receivers, and then they will have a decision to make. And folks, that's exactly how they prepare. It is the loosest football team that we see across this country.
Loosest and hardest working, most competitive bunch that you'll see year in and year out.
Well, a reminder, Tuesday, January 6th, TV's Funniest Doctors have found a better place to operate, and that place is ABC. Courtney Cox guest stars in the season premiere of Scrubs Tuesday at 9/8 Central on ABC. And there's John McGinley, who plays Dr. Perry Cox on Scrubs, in attendance here today.
He's fired up. These Trojans looking good. It's the thing about USC, it's not like they work to get a lead and then just kind of cruise on home. No, they just keep pressing. They will not let up.
Here's a memo for the East Coast media. The Pac-10 is about to win the duel amongst the conferences in the bowl games, folks. Pac-10 is undefeated. This would be their last game. This would put them on 5-0. SEC can't catch them. South Carolina lost. You win it, based upon winning percentage, and we're looking at a conference that's turning it in at 1,000%. This is not just a statement by USC. This is a statement by all you voters that thought the Pac-10 was so weak this year, and USC never had a chance to climb back toward the championship game. It's why a lot of people, including Pete Carroll, want to see a playoff down the road. There is no better defense in the country than the one you're looking at right here. And the offense not too bad either. Here's Stephon Green. Stephon breaks to daylight. He's got top end. Mays, fumble. Loose ball. Trojans got it. Will Harris coming away with the fumble as Taylor Mays makes a big play in the secondary.
Well, just when it looked like Penn State might be able to get something going, Pete Carroll has the game ball already. Just when it looked like they might have something going, Green gets out into space, and then just another mistake or miscue. Good hustle by USC to be able to get the football. They attacked the football. I mean, it's a great run by Green, but they're attacking the football. Ball comes out, and then it's a scrum, and of course USC gets it. It's sandwiched here by Taylor Mays from one side, and it looked like Kerry Harris, the corner, from the other. I think Harris's contact actually knocked the ball loose.
A 30-yard completion.
They're not done
for the fumble. They've got 112, and Sanchez firing again. Incomplete. So, Herbie, let's go back now and take a look at the 4 games. Arizona went into Las Vegas and defeated BYU by 10. California in a tough game against Miami. That was up in San Francisco.
But
Oregon in a great Holiday Bowl. Not too sure what to make of that 3-0 score down
It's a win.
in El Paso, but a win is a win is a win. Right?
They've really flexed their muscles, and for a conference that just does not get a lot of notoriety, you could say for whatever reason it is, people nationally do not respect the Pac-10 with the exception of USC. This is huge for this conference.
Stephon Johnson.
Do you get any points for losing every bowl game? Oh, the Big Ten did win. They did win one.
Iowa, huge win over South Carolina. I know. And don't forget, the Buckeyes have got the big win against Texas. And even though we read these numbers like 8 second-half shutouts, the Nittany Lions will be back to play.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't ever give up on the Lions.
No. But they're going to need. You know, Herbie, the one thing that the Trojans have taken away, it seems to me, is Derek Williams as a major factor in this game. I think he has 1 completion in this game for about 11 yards. And now with the score being what it is, 24-7, they're going to have to strike downfield. They're going to have to find Butler and Norwood. Get the ball deep.
Yeah, Butler, I think, is the guy that they've been able to get the football to for the most part. But I think again, if you start to become too predictable, you fall prey and you fall victim to a USC offense. And Williams has got to be frustrated. This is his last football game as a Penn State Nittany Lion. Wants to be involved, obviously. The game started in a way where it looked like Penn State had enough balance. The Royster injury cost him. But I think USC just made some adjustments, and they've raised the bar in this game. Penn State's not been able to come along for the ride.
Herbie, this is one of the greatest eras by any team in the history of college football. When people look back at the last 7 years and what the Trojans have put together under Pete Carroll, it is unbelievable. They're just a couple of wins away from perhaps winning 3 or 4 national championships in a row.
What Florida State and Bobby Bowden did for 14 years, I thought we would never, ever see it again in college football because of the reduction in scholarships down to 85. What Pete Carroll is doing, I mean, he had 5 players off his defense a year ago who were drafted 3 in the first round. He could have 10 drafted this year off of the defense this year. So the next part of the puzzle will come in next year, and they just don't slow down. I think people thought Carson Palmer left, they'd slow down. Matt Leinart, and they just go on and on at every position.
John David Booty and now Mark Sanchez. John David Booty was the offensive MVP, I believe, of last year's Rose Bowl triumph over the Illini. And remember, the last time they lost in a Rose Bowl, and it might have been the greatest Rose Bowl game of them all, was Texas and Vince Young, mobile quarterback, scoring with time running out. And even in that game, USC had a great chance. But Reggie Bush makes a terrible mental blunder with that lateral, and Lindale can't pick up that 4th and 1. It's just a remarkable run by USC. And, of course, with the National Football League staying out of this metropolis, These guys are rock stars out here. Williams is wide open. The corner, Herbie, is off him like 8 yards. And there's a penalty flag also coming in. Little face mask, according to Williams.
Well, again, this is a combination of it looked like a horse collar and a face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, number 1 on the defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
H.A. Wallace about 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. Left hand comes in and pulls on Damian Williams' face mask. And we've talked so much about Mark Sanchez, but Damian Williams, 7 catches, 127 yards in the first half alone.
You know, he says that he will be back next year, but I'd stay tuned on this one. And Pete Carroll's very open about it. He says, I want our guys to be evaluated, and if they're going to go early in that first round, I want them to go. Drop off the screen, and here's Gable. Gable running daylight, got end zone, touchdown. They've dropped the hammer again, folks. I've seen this movie before.
Big Ten has seen this film before, too.
Beeler adds the extra point.
This is an outstanding call. And even better execution. Offensive line allows the penetration. They get downfield. There's a convoy. And that gives you an idea of C.J. Gable. As much as we want to talk about McKnight and Stephon Johnson, I really believe that C.J. Gable is probably the most complete back. And he gets into the open field. He's nifty enough and explosive enough to be able to get upfield. And this Trojan team, the most impressive thing to me about championship teams is when they have a chance to go after you and take advantage and dominate you and go for the jugular, they do. And that's what they've done throughout this entire year, and they've done it again tonight.
Sarkisian's last game as offensive coordinator under Pete Carroll. That's how confident Carroll is about how he runs the operation. He didn't tell Sarkisian to pack his bags, go on up to Seattle, leave now. He said, nope, you deserve to be around us for the Rose Bowl. Come on down, call plays. And over on the other side now, a team that has to regroup here. They've got to tell each other, no quit. You know the chant, we are Penn State. We are now hearing, we are SC. There's Powell coming out again. So here's our second quarter summary. And you can see that the Trojans have seized control of this game here in Pasadena, as they have so many times in the past. You know, Herbie, it's just remarkable that the games that Pete Carroll hasn't won over the last week, the little ones, obviously Texas was huge, but when you think about Stanford,
Oregon State,
Coliseum,
UCLA,
Oregon State, UCLA, but when it comes to a big game, does anybody get a team prepared better than Pete Carroll? There's a ton of great seniors out there for Pete on this defense that won't be with him next year. But just like Kirby said, you just plug in some new guys.
Next wave,
they'll go.
I don't know if Penn State got the memo, but 31-7 can turn into 62-7 real fast. They better not stop competing.
Remember now, there is an Associated Press vote for a national champion. Okay? They do not have to vote in favor of who wins what should be a great game between Oklahoma and Florida. We had a split championship once before that way, and there's a penalty flag coming down. And that, of course, was when LSU beat Oklahoma in New Orleans But meanwhile, the Trojans were not invited, and they were voted the AP national champion. So that's going to make this real interesting.
Well, then you have the Texas game, too, against Ohio State. If they go out and play outstanding, there's probably going to be a lot of people who will talk about
illegal
Texas.
block in the back. Number 57 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. It'll still be second down.
It's just not like a Nittany Lion football team. They are just so much sounder than this.
You said they've averaged about 3 penalties a game all year. It's the All-American center, A.Q. Shipley, trying to get downfield to help Green out. 6 penalties now. 7 penalties.
Royster's injured, so Stephon Green's the tailback, and Clay Matthews, a stand-up defensive end. He's from another famous football family, of course. There he is, number 47. One time a walk-on. And now he's one of the starters here at USC. Interesting to watch his future.
Personal foul, face mask, number 47 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. It'll be 1st and 10.
Penn State at this point just wave the white flag and try to get to the locker room here.
And one of the loneliest figures of all will be that man right there, because as we understand it, he's going to stay right there in the coach's box. I'm sure he just feels terrible about the performance, because it is so unlike a Joe Paterno team to make the kind of mistakes that they made here. 7 penalties, 62 yards. Let's go to Lisa with Coach Carroll.
Going for the jugular, tell me the importance of those last, not 1, but 2 touchdowns you scored.
Yeah, the sequences have just been on fire. You know, we've had a chance, and we've really gone for it, and we've been able to make some plays and move the ball down the field. The big turnover really made a difference. That would have changed things a little bit. We're really playing up, you know, and you can tell the guys are really pumped up about this.
Now, Penn State has a pretty good defense. What has been the key for Mark Sanchez being able to just dismantle?
It starts with pass protection. You know, we're giving them a chance. The guys are running good routes, making some plays. Damian Williams had just a spectacular first half.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach.
Stay tuned now for the Pontiac Performance Halftime Show from the Rose Bowl. Big John Saunders, Craig James, Doug Flutie, and Keyshawn Johnson. After this message and word from our ABC stations. Brought to you by Home Depot.
How do you, what would yours be for Penn State? That's show some pride here.
That's what Joe Pau just told me.
Okay.
Show some pride.
There you go.
You got it right there.
There you go. Play hard. Play a full football game. You cannot allow yourself to be embarrassed. And for USC, you're not going to see them let up. If you're familiar with USC, you know that Pete Carroll will continue to go after this Penn State defense. And they'll continue to try to do everything that they can to put points on the board.
There'll be a couple football people told me that the corners cannot play off this far against these receivers. They're too good and too talented.
The problem is if they come up, then the receivers go by them.
Completes his first throw of the second half. Ronald Johnson, sophomore from Muskegon.
I mean, Penn State is a cover 3 defense. They're predominantly a zone defense. They'll mix in some zone pressures, but because you play a cover 3 defense, and we've talked about this, and we'll show you more in the second half what we mean by that, but you are exposing yourself, if a quarterback has time, to the vertical passing game, to the skinny post, and that's where Mark has had most of his success.
The aerial show continues. Great grab. But the point that the football men, the scouts, made to me when I was out in back and went down to see Joe Pau is that they're just giving them so much of a cushion that these guys can turn to the sideline, as Williams did there. They can come back into the front.